What is up, guys? My name is Dunkerhog Dom. Welcome to a Dunkerhog story. This story is about my fighting game experience as well as my tournament experience so far, because I'm still competing in some. Mainly in the game that you see on the screen right now, which is Dragonball Z Fighters. This game is available on the Switch, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and PC. Everything except your phone, basically. And this game is pretty good. It's a 3v3 action, Dragon Ball characters. Good times. I'll talk about it more later on in this little video. The first game that I would like to talk about is Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because it is the first fighting game I ever played, and I played it on the Nintendo Switch because it was not available on anything else. My mains were the main character I played was Toon Link, or I played Kirby sometimes, and yeah, I didn't really deviate too much from the other class unless I was just joking around or anything like that. I remember playing ranked, which is playing competitively or in competitive setting, where you rack up points to see how you'll be on the leaderboards. And ranked is something I will most likely say for most of these other fighting games. It was a pretty fun experience from what I recollect, and I remember meeting people in different chats or whatever, and trying to see if I can get different games or get into different games. Wherever we exchange friend codes, and friend codes back in the day for the Nintendo was you would have this 16-digit code just to even play with your friends. And yeah, we would play throughout the night and stuff like that. I was 11 or 12, so it didn't matter how long I stayed up unless I got caught. It was crazy. Anyways, it was a pretty fun game overall. Some people don't really count it as a fighting game because the way that you lose or die can be just randomly or whatever. But that's just what makes it fun and competitive. I know people play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate now, and the people probably still say that's not a fighting game, but it has all the same mechanics that you could learn in a regular fighting game. Now, the next game I played was Ultra Street Fighter 4 on the Xbox 360. I got my dad's Xbox 360, and once I got it, I was just okay, let's play some games. And eventually I ran into Ultra Street Fighter 4. I played it with my friend Trey, and Trey beat the living crap out of me. And as I was trying to figure out why am I getting beat all the time, is because it's played completely different than how Smash was. Because Smash was you just hit your opponent a lot and make them fall off the stage. And if they fall off the stage, well, they lose a stock or they lose a life. And yeah, you just keep the process going. But in Street Fighter, all you have to do is just hit your opponent until they die or fall over, basically. And when they have a health bar. That's the difference. They have a health bar in Street Fighter, and once it goes to 0, you're dead. And Smash Bros, once it goes to, it starts at 0, but once it goes to I don't know, Affinity or something like that, you can still be alive just walking around as long as you don't get knocked off the stage, which made the game not as it made it more random and more inconsistent for some people, because it's just you'll never know when you'll die. But in Street Fighter, you'll know when you die because it just boop. Street Fighter is a more traditional fighting game, or the first traditional fighting game I played. So it's when I started learning the lingo, which is frame traps and frame data, mix-ups, cross-ups, ultras and supers and stuff like that. And everything that was pretty much said that sounded I don't know, random jumble mess to you was actual stuff that I had to know, to just even to even get anywhere with that set game with Ultra Street Fighter 4. My main characters that I played was Makoto, Evil Ryu, Abel, and I played Cammy. I didn't play any charge characters because that was too difficult for me. So I had to learn how to do certain motions, which was a quarter circle back and quarter circle forward, half circle back, full circle, SPDD, something the whole bunch of different lingo that you start learning, just off the jump from playing Street Fighter, for example. And I was maybe 13 or 14 learning all of it, and I'm oh my gosh, this game is so deep and fun. And I didn't think it was fun at first, but it took me a while to really see where you can get fun in these type of games, because you put so much time and effort into learning how to play the rules, or developing your own way to break the rules and or break the game, which is where I get my fun at now. And not cheating per se, not cheating, is outsmarting your opponent is where the fun comes in for myself, and probably for other people, unless their fun comes from just winning the game. And I can say now, currently, I've shifted more from trying to outsmart your opponent to more of like trying to win actually, which is in fighters like trying to win actually. And if I don't go to tournaments, I start just playing for fun or playing just to outsmart people and make them mad, as you will see in these clips here, because they're not clips from a tournament, obviously, but these are clips from just either casual games or from ranked games. And Street Fighter was one of the times like I actually like started like playing ranked a little more often than I did in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Because in Street Fighter, once you like get up in the ranks or whatever, then more people start recognizing like, oh, this guy might be tough to beat. But in Smash, it's just like, oh, who is this person? Oh, yeah, whatever. Like you start having like a specific like prestige and honor or whatever with it. I didn't play it as much as like Trey and like maybe Jonathan played it or whatever. My other friend I played Street Fighter with, but yeah, I played it a fair amount. The next game I played it was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It was available on the PlayStation 3. It is now available on the PlayStation 4. It was available on the Xbox 360, and I'm not sure if it got ported to the Xbox One as well. So it's on PC now too. So if you ever seen the game before, it's crazy. It's a 3v3 action packed Marvel based and Capcom based game. Hence the name Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah, Marvel characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, She-Hulk, Phoenix, and like X-Men characters and stuff like that. And Capcom side, they had like Mega Man. No, they actually had Zero. They didn't have Mega Man in it for some reason. They had Phoenix Wright. They had they actually had some Street Fighter characters inside of it too, like on the Capcom side. I don't want to say like so many of the Capcom names, whatever, because some of my audience probably doesn't even know what Capcom is. The people who made Street Fighter and people who made Mega Man. You're good, okay? You're good. And the game was action packed because it was 3 versus 3. You're able to call assists, which was your two other pairs. Like you only play as one character at a time, but your two other people can go out and do like a special move. As you can see in this game is also 3-on-3, and your other characters can come out and do other assists and special moves. The game for Marvel, what made it so like unique, I want to say, is that it had this thing called X Factor. And X Factor can turn the tables of any match. If you had X Factor, you still had a chance to win. Because the way that the combo structure worked in this game compared to a Street Fighter was that you can get comboed to death. Like if a person touches you, you're pretty much dead if you had X Factor. Because I mean, the person's pretty much gonna die if you had X Factor and if you had the right combo in mind. For Street Fighter, I would say that even if you were doing combos, it would take you like maybe 4 or 5 hits because the person can block your hits, whatever, and fight back. But in Marvel, once you're in a combo, you have to take the damage. Like you're just stuck there getting hit. And there's been moments where like if you see tournaments, whatever, and you see like the actual face cams where people just like they put their hands up, they can't do anything because they're stuck in a combo. Like for example, lightning loops for Zero. If you get stuck in that, because it's first of all it's hard to block because it's like a cross up or whatever, which means that it'll hit you from either the left side or right side, but you have to guess most of the time where it's gonna hit you. And if you get hit by it, you most likely lose the character because that's how dangerous Zero was and how dangerous these combos were in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And as in the tournament setting, this was hectic. Like Marvel tournaments were hectic compared to Street Fighter tournaments. People will always be out there like they came out with signs, chanting, and Dragon Ball now that's happening a lot now too in Dragon Ball. But like Marvel, it's like when's Marvel, baby? It was crazy. A lot of drama and stuff like that compared to how fighting game and the FGC is right now, the fighting game community is right now. So Marvel was it was a good time for fighting games. A good time that was like when I first like started seeing like fighting games. They could be pretty fun and hype, like cool to play because people would be cheering in the background, especially if you're playing in front of a crowd. At that time, I never went into a tournament, but the next game that I'm about to introduce is when I actually did go into the tournament. So Mortal Kombat X for the PlayStation 4. It's also on the Xbox One, and I'm pretty sure it's probably on the PC as well. Don't know. So Mortal Kombat X kind of took everything that I knew, however, and it applied it to a more simpler way, because in Mortal Kombat you have a block button where like you can just sit there, you can block. It also had a grab button where you can like grab the opponent to make them stop blocking. And the other games they did have it, but it wasn't as important. Like Street Fighter, it was important, but for Marvel, it was like in Marvel, you're gonna get hit eventually. Like there's no, you can't block forever. In Street Fighter, you possibly could block forever, but the chip damage would kill you. But in Mortal Kombat, there's stuff happens like, because it's a 1v1 type of game, whatever. Stuff happens so like low key that if you're not ready for it, you're just gonna get grabbed. And like the combos and stuff like that in Mortal Kombat was maybe as like more meticulous as Street Fighter was, but it was nowhere near as like crazy as Marvel was. But the reason why I want to say it's like a whole different direction altogether is because at the end of the game, or at the end of the fights, you have the option to straight up muralize your opponent. All the moves in Mortal Kombat are like lethal to regular human beings. Like if you were to get, I don't know, like your testicles like crushed or whatever, you wouldn't be continuing fighting. No, you'd be on the ground crying like a little baby. In Mortal Kombat, there's stuff called X-rays, where like they'll do like a specific move where they'll like grab your spine and crush it, and then you'll still be playing the game somehow. I don't understand that. Maybe these people are part gods or something like that. I don't know. But the fatalities, however, are where people like legitimately you're dead. There's no more, because that's where people's heads get decapitated. The limbs get like chopped off, or they legit just get their throat or heart pulled out. It's crazy in Mortal Kombat X, and that was like a mature rated game. The next fighting game, which is the one that you'll see on the screen right now, is Dragon Ball Z Fighters. Dragon Ball Z Fighters is the first fighting game I actually went to a legitimate tournament for. It was called the Gamer Solstice. It was either held in like August or April or somewhere in that time frame or something like that, during the summer basically. And the buy-in fee to get into the tournament was $20. So I was like, $20? I need to roll some heads because I can't just come back empty-handed. So out of the people who, I was like $20, maybe not a lot of people show up as well. That's what I also thought. Maybe like 10 or 12 people actually showed up to it. So I was thinking like, oh, the pot prize is gonna be pretty big because they said there's a $500 bonus prize in it. But little did I know that 500 was split between other games like Tekken and stuff like that. So I was just like, oh, I wonder how much I'm gonna get for Dragon Ball Fighters, assuming that would win. And a little did I know the two people was not gonna let that happen. So first person was Mbetty. He's been to like a lot of different tournaments or whatever, so he had a lot of experience. And the other person was Hebrew Legend, and he told me he's been like 4 or 5 tournaments. He was like a cool light skinned dude or whatever. And he was like a big brother almost. It was pretty cool experiencing it, like my first tournament, like my first real tournament, like just talking to people, seeing like how they play, whatever. Like we play like some warm up matches and stuff like that. And then when it actually came to the tournament time, it was like you get in the zone, because if you don't get in the zone, like by getting in the zone, I mean like you concentrate with every like fiber in your being. Like don't get scared like whenever you're in these tournaments, because if you get scared, you're gonna get eaten alive. And it was very intense, like up to the very end of my career, of my stint in that tournament, because I ended up getting knocked out in winners semis. Oh no, it was losers finals. Oh yeah, losers finals, because I was fighting to get into second place because I was currently in third place or whatever. And I lost to Hebrew Legend, and he went up against Mbetty, and Mbetty ended up winning the tournament because he's had all this experience. And I want to say experience goes a long way, but as far as technique and stuff goes, he was really good at the game. So don't let me like get all like tangled up. Like he was really good at the game. So was Hebrew Legend, which is why I didn't get to second or first place. As a third place contestant, however, I ended up winning. I want to say I ended up winning $40, but because the tourney fee was $20, I legitimately won $20. If that makes sense, because 20 minus 40 is 20, right? So the fourth place person as well won $11, so they won negative money, if that makes sense. So 11 minus 20, so like you still lost type deal. I don't even know why they gave him money, because I would have been more money for me to have. I could say I have $50. Besides the point. So outside of that Gamer Solstice, I went to a couple weekly tournaments, and the weeklies were held at Otaku Cafe, and then not a lot of people show up to it. It's like a $5 buy-in. And outside of that, I went to the monthlies that were held at Otaku Cafe, and they were like packed with people who went to like Austin. Yeah, people who came from Austin, Houston, and like what is it, Dallas and stuff like that. It was a pretty intense place. It was packed, man. And I didn't get far in it. I didn't even get to like I didn't even get third place or anything like that. I probably got like seventh or something like that. But the buy-in was like $5 over, right? So it was like, yeah, live and learn type deal. But whoever won, he ended up winning like some other major tournaments. So I want to talk more about tournament sides of this game because like this game was pretty fun. And even people who how do I say this? People who go to tournaments just watch the game being played. They think this is a pretty fun game to watch, especially with the commentators, because commentators make most of these tournaments like pop. Like IFC Yipes is like a really good commentator, and sometimes he'll say like different things or whatever, and like as you're playing here or playing around. As you're playing the tournament, sometimes you may be able to hear the commentators. So when I was at another tournament I went to was one at San Japan for Dragonball Z Fighters. At San Japan, I faced this one guy on this big stage, and it was in front of like 30 or 50 people, whoever who was watching, like from either the little chairs or like just around the room in general. And it was streamed. It was live streamed as well. I don't know what their stream name was. So hopefully I'll find it again. But the guy was like in the first match. I figured out like this guy wasn't like good, so like I can like do whatever I want. I wanted to switch my characters, but you have to lose before you can switch your characters in the game like this apparently. So I was just like, okay, well I'll just lose the second match or something like that. Lost the second match to a comeback apparently, and a comeback is basically whenever you have the advantage. And I had 3 characters versus his one, and I let his one beat up all my last characters. And the crowd was going crazy in the background. So I was just like, yeah, we're going to take away all that fun. So the third match I came in, beat him up like crazy, sweeped him with all 3 of my characters still intact. And yeah, it was pretty bad. So yeah, hopefully you guys kind of get the gist of my like tournament stuff in general. That San Japan tournament, I didn't get too far in it because like I was playing with a controller when I usually play with my arcade stick. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the rest of the video, which is not gonna be for too long. And yeah, I gotta go, so like see ya.
Bitch, get down here.
You think I want super dance you right now? Oh shit, you don't even get the heavy one, you're too low. Oh, so you think it's very funny? Oh, you come on, dude. It killed me. It fucking killed me. Oh my god, I'm about to kill you, dude.
Bro, base Goku is a god. He's base god. I'm telling you.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Japanese phrase of the day. The phrase of the day is "Kore wa ikura desu ka?" Kore wa ikura desu ka means how much is this? I feel like this is an important phrase for you to know in Japan, because once you go there, you'll be like, what's yen? What is this? How much yen is that? So 100 yen is basically $1, if I remember correctly, and 500 yen is $5. So if you see something that says like 5,000 yen, don't panic. It's only $50. So yes, have fun with that information. See you guys later.